Oh, what is going on, everybody? Coming on here on a Friday, your credential media source for the Carolina Panthers. That is the Charlotte Vibe. We are live here again on a Friday. I'm Andre Cassidy. Hopefully, you guys are excited because we have some news about Bryce Young here that we'll get to in a moment. Really, let's just go ahead and say it. He will be a go for Sunday's game against the Minnesota Vikings, which is exciting news for everybody who, for one, wants to see Bryce Young play, and for others, can inject a little bit of energy that the team currently is lacking right now. But we'll get to that here in a moment. Let me just go ahead and get all the plugs in, right? So to everybody who is tuning in, make it a habit. Go ahead and hit the like button and make your voice heard in the comments section. I'll be going through those here in a moment. Go ahead and go into the link that is in the description right now to enter for your chance to win a pretty sweet looking Panthers jacket that is in the description down below. So definitely get in on that action. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. We're getting really close to 10,000 subscribers on this channel. So for Chris and I, this is what we do. This is what we love doing, is being able to go on, hop on, and go live for all of you out there, because this is what we love doing, informing all of you out there of all the Panther news that are taking place and all the Panthers exclusive content that I know Chris is hard at work in getting, those exclusive interviews and those exclusive behind the scenes that you won't see anywhere else. And we're independent media, so we're supported by all of you out there. Pardon the ESPN notifications that are going off on my phone there. But nevertheless, we are all supported by everything that you guys contribute to us here at the Charlotte Vibe. So please take the time out of the day, hit the like button, comment down below, subscribe, and tell everybody about what we are and what we're about and the mission here at the Charlotte Vibe. This is something that we continue to want to continue to grow here. So that relationship that we have with our viewers and with all of you out there, it means the world to us. So please do your part, and we will do our part to make this thing go the way that we want it to go. So let's go ahead and take a look at the final injury report for let me get that comment off of there real quick. I didn't even realize it was on the screen. But yeah, let's take a look at that final injury report that everybody is talking about, the big news of the day that just came from the Panthers about 4 hours ago. Bryce Young is cleared and ready to go for Sunday's game. He was a full participant in today's practice, which was huge news for Carolina in terms of what they're going to be walking themselves into when they get ready to play Minnesota here on Sunday. So really, they kind of just update the three main players, or really four main players, who have had injuries throughout the week and kind of their health has been up in the air. Really the big thing that we want to take a look at here is Xavier Woods. Obviously, he's going to be out for the Minnesota game. That's pretty much something that we kind of already knew. And he's going to be out for an extended period of time. So how long that will be, we've heard 4 to 6 weeks. Nobody has really put a timeline on it yet, but it's something that we will be keeping an eye on. Frankie Louvu, Jonathan Mingo, and the one that has really kind of flared up throughout the latter portion of the week, Miles Sanders. All three of them are going to be considered questionable for Sunday's game against the Vikings. The Miles Sanders one is a little bit interesting because as we look at the report, Wednesday and Thursday he was a limited participant, and then today he did not participate at all during today's practice. So it'll be interesting to see how that all develops and moves forward here. It's looking more likely than not that he will not play on Sunday, if I had to guess, just due in part with how things have trended about throughout the week. So if that is the case, if Miles Sanders is not a go for Sunday's game, look for Chuba Hubbard to be the guy that picks up the slack and takes over his spot along with Raheem Blackshear as well to provide some depth behind Chuba Hubbard. Jonathan Mingo and Frankie Louvu are also two players that were, again, in wait-and-see mode. I mean, we would love to have both of them out. No official updates on if Jonathan Mingo has cleared the concussion protocol. That's still something that we have not heard much of as of yet. Frankie Louvu, who is still dealing with that hip injury, that's something that we're still monitoring and keeping track of, and no official updates yet in terms of if he will play on Sunday. So we're just going to have questionable tags for them, a 50-50 shot of them playing on Sunday's game. So that's pretty much the report here. Everybody else that was listed in the report earlier in the week: DJ Chark, Taylor Moton, CJ Henderson, Zavala, Bradley Bozeman, and LeBrian Bray were all not listed in terms of game status. They were not listed with a tag, so they should be ready to go. And they were all full participants on practice today. So the big one, obviously, CJ Henderson and DJ Chark. Those are two big pieces there that were full participants for Friday, and they should be ready to go for Sunday's game. So that's really huge news, especially for CJ Henderson, because we need that secondary to be ready to go on Sunday. They're going to be going up against guys like Justin Jefferson and Addison and TJ Hawkinson. There's a lot of weapons on Minnesota's side of things, so we need the secondary to be as healthy and as available as humanly possible, because there are a lot of weapons on the offensive side of the ball for Minnesota, and that's a really big piece to have CJ Henderson have back out there, because we're going to need all the help that we could get in facing those weapons that are on the opposite side of the field. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these comments here for everybody who is tuning in now. If you haven't left a comment yet, please leave a comment down there in the comments section. We're going to be going through a couple of them here in just a short while, and I'll offer a little bit of my insight of how the game's going to go on Sunday. Just a brief insight, because I will save my fire for what I think is going to happen on Sunday when we go live for our pregame show at Bank of America Stadium, which, if you haven't already, if you don't know the drill, we will be at Sunday's game. Chris and I will be there live at Bank of America Stadium, getting all of you out there ready for this matchup with the Minnesota Vikings in hopes of getting our first win of the season. So hopefully we can definitely witness that. But let's go ahead and get into some of these comments here. We got Mason on YouTube saying, "What up?" What's going on, Mason? Hope you are doing well here on a Friday. Hopefully your work week was good and you can wrap it up here with us and have a pretty chill weekend here coming up soon. The Mad Chatter saying, "Yo, what up, Andre? Good to see you on." And he's also commenting that Bryce is back. Tell a friend. Yes, he is back, and he's going to be ready to go for Sunday's game. All the indications, and Frank Reich and others have said in their pressers today and really over the past couple of days, that Bryce Young has been impressive. He's been mobile, and that is really, really good news for a team that needs to have their young rookie quarterback out there, because the more opportunities that he can be out there, the better for his development, the better for continuity with the team. You name it, he needs to be back out there, and thankfully he will be on Sunday. Supernova Moore saying, "What up, Andre, my man?" What's up, my man, Supernova? Good to have you in here. If you haven't noticed, Chris isn't on again tonight. He is on standby duty with his wife. No official updates as of yet, but this is probably going to be something that we'll be seeing as we get really, really close to that magical time. But he is on standby duty with his lovely wife and doing his thing. That's why they call him the man of the people, because he is just an A1 dude right there, and he's doing his thing, taking care of the wife and the family here on a Friday evening. The Mad Chatter also commenting, "Is Chark healthy?" He is healthy, and he should be ready to go on Sunday, as indicated in the injury report. he should be ready to go. Again, he was a full participant on Friday's practice today, so that is good to see. And another question that the Mad Cheddar had, Tariq Cohen, is he going to be playing in Sunday's game? Are we going to see some of Tariq Cohen? I would say it would be safe to assume if Miles Sanders isn't a go, you would think that he would be involved in some capacity with what Carolina is trying to do. They brought him in for a reason, and there's a relationship there with special teams coordinator Tabor. So I would feel like on Sunday's game, this will be the first game where they start easing him into things and start involving him more into what they are doing. So it will be something to look out for. Definitely for sure, because he does have that potential to be an explosive player either out of the backfield or in the kick game, punt return game. He will definitely be an interesting piece there. Anthony Davis making a comment. C.J. Henderson, big piece. Okay, I get the humor there. Obviously, C.J. Henderson is he definitely. Okay, let's just be frank. He has been the target of a lot of criticism since being traded here to Carolina. Was a first-round pick, the 8th overall pick in his respective draft, and hey, he hasn't lived up to the expectations. But when you look at C.J. Henderson, whether you like it or not, he's a big part of that secondary in terms of the involvement and in terms of the reliance on him to be a big part in that piece in the secondary. Now, obviously, health has been an issue for him. There have been moments, especially in years past and even this season too, where he has a lack of poise, especially when he gets beat deep. And there's a lot of instances there where he will commit defensive pass interferences because he knows he's going to get beat and he has no way of getting back into the play and recovering and doing something to try to disrupt whatever play that they're trying to do. So definitely C.J. Henderson is a subject of criticism. Whether it's fair or not, hey, that's up to the eyes of the beholder. But this will be another opportunity to try and do something about some of the hate and some of the criticism that he is getting. If he is able to hold his own against guys like Henderson, Justin Jefferson and Addison and T.J. Hawkinson, then that will definitely help him out a little bit. But it's he's going to need to he needs to show out here, and he needs to be out on the field. That's really the main thing as well, is to have him healthy during this portion of the season. Another question, or another comment, from Anthony Davis. Jefferson going to cook Dante and Henderson for 250? I really hope not. I really hope this isn't the Bené Ben-Wickery game where he gave up 300 yards to Julio Jones. I really hope that is not the case on Sunday. Now, there is that potential for something like that to happen, just in due in part to how, I guess, we'll just be frank about it, how weak the Panthers secondary is, due in part to injuries and due in part to guys who are filling in roles that that they may not be comfortable in filling in. So it's gonna be a battle, and that's one of the keys that I will touch on Sunday, is how does the Panthers secondary hold up against this Vikings offense. That's going to be one of those. I feel like it's going to be one of those difference-making situations that will either go in our favor or not. Anthony Davis with another comment. Do you think we trade Burns at the deadline to get a first-rounder back? This is something that Chris and I touched on, I know, in the Monday show that we had. And really, it's a conversation that we're going to have more opportunities to speak upon, especially if the Panthers don't have much success as we get to the trade deadline, which would be about late October. I believe it's in late October. But if we get to that point to where the team is not having much success, and we're coming back from the bye week, and we're still not really doing much of anything. And our records, like what, 2-8 or 2-9 at that point, whatever the case it may be. It's something that they're going to have to consider. I don't know if that's something that made the Panthers front office hesitate when they didn't pull the trigger to re-sign Brian Burns for that contract extension, which he still is not extended as of yet. So you kind of wonder if that kind of played a factor into why they didn't re-sign him, is because they view him as a trade asset. I don't know. That's just speculation. I have nothing to back that up. That's just something that that I'm making an observation about. So it's something that they are going to have to consider, especially if things do not go the way that the Panthers want it to go. It's going to be a tough conversation to have because, you don't want to give up a guy like Brian Burns. Let's just be frank, pass rushers are hard to find. And, when you have one on your team that has the potential and has produced in the past and has the capability to take over football games single-handedly, it's hard to justify getting rid of him. But if you're at a point where things just aren't going well with the team and there isn't as much success with the team and the trajectory of the season, it's something that they're going to have to consider. Let's go ahead and go over to one of our members, Charlie, who has just tuned in here. He's saying, "What's up? How's it going?" Charlie, I am doing pretty good here on a Friday. Getting really excited for this Panthers game on Sunday. Whether it's excitement or a false sense of hope that I feel right now, I'm just feeling the good vibes. We have Bryce Young back in there. That's something that is good. There's something that's going right with the team for once. There isn't any bad news. So I will take whatever good news we can get. So I'm feeling pretty good right now. Thanks for tuning in. And here's another one here from Charlie. If we do trade Brian Burns, we at least need to get 2 first rounders. Yeah, I think. Look, you have to get a haul for him, right? Because simply put, this team does not have a first round pick. And it's a little concerning because when you look at trades that have been made in the past, like with Christian McCaffrey, like they didn't even get a first round pick for him. So it'll be quite interesting to see what the asking price is for Brian Burns if they do decide that that's the route that they want to go. I would not advocate for it because, again, I don't like trading away homegrown talent. He was our first round pick back in 2017, 18, I believe. I don't like trading away homegrown talent, right? That was an investment that we made. We developed him into what he is today. And again, he's just such a hard player to replace. And that was the same conversation with DJ Moore. I mean, they had to have a choice between one of 3 players. It was like either him, Brian Burns, or Derek Brown. And out of those 3, you had to question yourself and say, hey, which out of those 3 are going to be the easiest to replace? And from what Scott Fitterer and what the team said based off of their moves and their action, they felt like DJ Moore is the easiest player to replace. Now, obviously, that isn't the case right now because, the receiving room right now is a little bit to be desired. While they did have a good game last week as a group, there's still room for improvement there. But not having a DJ Moore type player on our team definitely hurts, and it would hurt not having Burns out there as well. Anthony Davis with another comment here. Scott missed his chance to get 2 first rounders, especially from a team like the Rams. Love Burns, but he doesn't take over football games. I watch Parsons, Bosa, and Watt. Just makes a different impact compared to Burns. Yeah, definitely I would agree with that last point. And really with everything that you said there. He does have the potential to take over games, but when you look at guys like a Micah Parsons, like a Joey Bosa, and a TJ Watt, They consistently do that. And I think when you look at Burns and you compare those three, Burns is a very good player, but he's not a great player. If you are a great player, then you do things repeatedly good over a period of time, and you don't disappear. That's what makes you great. And there are moments where he has not consistently been good every single week. There are moments where he does have drop-offs, and that's what is the difference between him and those three guys that you mentioned there. Mad Chatter with another comment. He's a great edge rusher, but he isn't all over the field like Bosa. I definitely do agree. A lot of good comments coming in here. I don't think any team would offer 2 first-round picks again. It's a possibility. I wouldn't say that it's unlikely. It kind of just depends on, again, the state of where everybody is at that point of the season. If you could trade him to a contending team who really doesn't need first-round picks, and you could probably get away with getting 1 or 2, just depending on the circumstance and the situation, of course. But it definitely is, especially right now, it'd be definitely hard to find somebody to make that kind of trade, especially when, hey, the season just started. Everybody is still trying to figure things out, and definitely, still trying to get a feel for things. There are some teams that are out there already that you can say, hey, look, they're already starting to say, hey, maybe we have to wait till next year. Chicago Bears and other teams. I'm not going to name drop. It's a Friday, guys. I don't want to be rude, right? But there are teams out there already who we already know what their season's going to be and what their story is going to be this season. And we're going to have more answers to that relatively soon. Another comment from Anthony Davis. Burns struggles against the run a bit. And, yeah, it's a fair criticism. Like, look, he's a speed rusher. He just recently added power into his repertoire. I mean, he definitely put on some weight over this past offseason and really over the past 2 years. He's up to 260, 270, if I remember correctly. But yeah, he's somebody who definitely has added some weight, and he knew that was something that he had to add to his game. And while he's had a pretty solid start so far to his season this year, that's still a criticism that we all have with him moving forward here. Anthony Davis with another comment. We laugh at the Bears, but they are about to take Marvin Harrison Jr. with our pick. Yeah, I mean, it's very likely that they could have, 2 top 10 picks in next year's draft. They're definitely laughing in their skis with the fact that they were able to get that pick from us. So in that perspective for them, they're definitely looking to the future. And they are, that deal, that trade with DJ Moore, we're really going to see. We may not feel the effects of it now, but definitely down the line when we do need assets, especially in the first round with the draft next year, we're definitely going to feel some of the negative effects from that. It's a trade that, I am in support for because we were able to get our franchise quarterback, but it did leave us some holes and some inabilities there to try to be flexible in terms of filling in those gaps that we had to give up in order to get a guy like Bryce Young. So speaking of Bryce Young, I'll end it off with this. I'll add a little bit of some commentary into how I think how things could potentially go as we look into Sunday's game. I think Bryce Young is going to have a get it right game. Without going into too much detail, and I'll keep my statements pretty general because I want to hold my fire for Sunday. I do feel like Bryce Young has the opportunity to get it right. I mean, he's going up against a defense that's pretty much in the bottom 5 of every statistical category. Let's let the camera figure itself out here. But it will hurt not having Miles Sanders out there. So they're going to have to be creative in terms of replacing his production, look for more Chuba Hubbard, and I would say, hey, maybe get Laviska Shenault more involved in the offense as well. I mean, that whole thing is just, it boggles me. He only has 3 catches for 16 yards through 3 games. We have got to figure out how to get him involved into the offense more. I think they'll have a good opportunity to do that if Miles Sanders is a no-go for Sunday's game. But I do feel like Bryce Young has a good, solid chance to get his first win in the National Football League on Sunday. I'm going to keep my hopes high. I'm going to keep good vibes heading into that game on Sunday, and hopefully things will turn out in our favor because we do not want to fall to 0-4. That would be a pretty rough way to go. Charlie again with another comment. Don't know if you pay any attention to college football, but Thawee is a receiver I think would be great. Xavier Leggett from USC. Those are all very good options. 2 players to keep in mind for especially as we head into next year. Vikings defense is terrible. I don't want to say terrible, but they're not they're not performing. So if you want to say terrible, go for it. But they're just not performing up to this point. Not disagree on Miles Sanders. Chuba is better. Chuba is a better power back, I would say. Sanders, they both have 2 play styles, different play styles. He's more of a quick shifty runner. Chuba's more of a power. Chuba definitely, from what I've noticed, is running harder than Miles Sanders to start out. I don't think we should go too hard on Miles, though he's been a little bit mid so far coming in. I do feel like, once he gets more and more time with the offense and the pieces that are around him, he will be more of a contributing factor. But again, let me just say this for Sunday. I do have hope. I do have a belief that things will turn around a little bit. There may be some struggles, and there may be some moments where you're like, hey, things are still a little leaky, but I do feel like we're going to see some improvements. I mean, the Seahawks game was encouraging because of how explosive the offense looked with Andy Dalton in there, and this will lead to my next point as well from Mad Chatter. Tell him to let it rip. Worst that happens, we lose. I want to see more freedom with the offense on Sunday. I do want to see the Panthers give Bryce a little more trust and a little more freedom into what the offense is for him and open up the playbook as well. Let me get this last comment in here. The team needs to find an identity. This is from Panito. I hope I pronounced that right. Please, again, roast me in the comments if I did it. The Panthers' offense last year, they had an identity, right? It was run the football, hard, gritty, running with Deontay Foreman. This Panthers' offense this year, the identity that they have right now is shaky and inconsistent play. That's their identity right now, right? Meaning they don't have an identity. So they have got to figure out what do they do well. I think what they need to do is to get Bryce Young comfortable by establishing the run and getting him on the move with play action, getting him to use his legs because he's a playmaker. He creates when things are not there, and he's a very good off-the-script kind of player. You just have to trust in his ability and give him that chance to be that playmaker, to roll out and to extend the play because he's good at being a freaking magician. But again, if the play isn't there, then he's smart enough to go ahead and throw the ball away, which we have seen a little too much so far. We need to be able to open things up for the offense. So to everybody who has left a comment on here, thanks for doing that. This has been a pretty active just Peanut, my dude. All right, we're roll with that, right? But again, appreciate the love, appreciate the comment there, and to everybody out there who left their comments here and who have been smashing the like button, I appreciate it. Appreciate the love, appreciate the support here today. But yeah, the big news of the day: Bryce Young will be playing on Sunday. So we will be looking out for that. We're going to be excited about that. We will be there on Sunday. Chris Jenkins, the man of the people, and I, on behalf of the Charlotte Vibe, will be going live pre-game and post-game on Sunday. So we have all of you guys covered for the game, so definitely be on the lookout for that. For all the content that we will have, Patrick Snyder, our photographer, will be on the field, and I will be manning all the social media accounts so that all of you out there will be taken care of. If you're not at the game, we'll have all the exclusive pictures and insights and analysis from Bank of America Stadium on Sunday. So that will do it for me here tonight. Thank you to everybody who has tuned in, and for everybody out there who hasn't already, continue to hit that like button and subscribe to the Charlotte Vibe, because we love to see you, we want to hear from you, and that is why we go live, for the purpose of getting your voice out there. We are your friends in the media, and we want to hear from you always. So on the behalf of Chris Jenkins, who is taking care of everybody in the Jenkins household. We'll be hearing more from him hopefully soon. I am Andre Cassidy for the Charlotte Vibe. Take care, everybody, and we will see all of you very soon. Have a good night, everybody.